Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're jumping straight into a really fascinating explainer of a classic allegorical fable. It's called Bunny and the Map of True Treasure. Now on the surface, sure, it sounds like a cute, simple adventure, but honestly, it's kind of a masterclass in how we think about value and purpose. We're going to break down exactly how this story pulls us in and hits us with its core message. Okay, let's dive right into this. It really all boils down to one massive question, the kind that's kept philosophers and explorers up at night for centuries. What is the greatest treasure in the world? Right now, before we even get into the story, I want you to think about what true value means to you. Is it, wealth, status, maybe knowledge? Keep your answer tucked away in the back of your mind, because we're about to see how our main character's whole perspective gets completely flipped upside down.
All right, so let's meet our protagonist. This is Bunny. He's a little rabbit living out his days in a dense forest with his mom. But here's the thing, the real engine of this whole story, Bunny is intensely curious. He's not just sitting around the burrow, he's got this massive itch to discover new things. And that natural eagerness, that's exactly what sets him up perfectly for the adventure that's about to kick off. Now, every good story needs that one moment that changes everything, right? The inciting incident. Well, one day, Bunny is just out playing in the forest, minding his own business, when boom, he stumbles across a shining golden map. Talk about a literal call to adventure. His totally normal day is suddenly interrupted by this crazy, mysterious object. And I mean, it's not just some old piece of paper, it's golden. That tells Bunny, and us, right away that this is going to lead to something huge. But a map kind of needs to make a promise to get you moving, doesn't it? Well, written right there on the gold is this bold inscription, "Whoever is brave will find the magical treasure." Just imagine reading that. That single line completely fires Bunny up. It promises this incredible magical treasure, but it clearly demands something in return. Bravery. It's the spark for his whole journey, letting him know he's really going to have to prove himself. Now, what I find absolutely fascinating here is how the story defines bravery. Usually we think of bravery as fighting off a dragon or jumping over a cliff. But as Bunny heads out, his so-called trials are actually just other people's problems. First, he runs into the sad turtle who's stuck and says, "I can't cross the river." And instead of just rushing past to go get his treasure, Bunny actually stops. He gathers up some wood and builds the guy a small bridge. Then, a little later, he finds an injured bird. And again, he hits pause on his own epic quest to carefully bandage the bird's wing. It turns out, his tests of bravery are really just opportunities for empathy. And the fable doesn't just treat this as a nice thing to do, it shows that altruism literally pays off. Because Bunny took the time to stop and help, he immediately gets these very real, tangible rewards. The turtle is so happy he gives Bunny a magic key. The thankful bird hands over a shining blue stone. These aren't just polite thank you cards. They're magical, highly specific items. Bunny's kindness is literally packing his inventory for the road ahead. Okay, so this brings us to the climax of the physical trip. Bunny finally makes it to the destination, a mysterious cave. But, of course, there's a catch. The cave door is completely sealed shut with this massive lock. The suspense is real right now. I mean, he followed the map, he proved he was brave, but now there's this giant, impenetrable wall standing between him and the magical treasure. What is he gonna do?
Well, remember that magic key from the turtle? Yeah, this is where the genius of the story's structure really clicks into place. Bunny takes out that key, puts it in the lock, and boom, the heavy cave door swings open. It is so satisfying. That very first reward he got just for being a good guy wasn't some random shiny trinket. It was literally the exact tool he needed to reach his ultimate goal. If he hadn't stopped to build that bridge for the turtle, his grand adventure would have face-planted right here at a locked door. So he steps inside the cave and the anticipation is just off the charts. Sitting right there in the middle of the room is exactly what the golden map promised. A single treasure chest. After all that, the river, the bird, that huge lock, this is the moment. You've got to wonder, what in the world is inside a chest that needs a golden map and a magic key to even get to? And here is the story's big twist. When Bunny throws open the lid, you'd expect, and he probably expected, a blinding pile of gold coins or sparkling diamonds, right? But nope. There is no material wealth in there at all. Instead, he finds a magical book. The story does such a beautiful job here contrasting what we expect is valuable with what actually is. He didn't dig up physical currency, he uncovered wisdom. So, what's actually in the book? Written right on the pages are these exact words.
The real treasure is helping others and doing good deeds. Just let that sink in for a second. The golden map didn't take him on a quest to hand him a physical prize. It took him on a quest so he'd actually experience the prize along the way. The journey itself, helping the turtle, bandaging the bird, that was the treasure. The book was basically just a mirror showing him how brave and kind he'd already been. The moment he reads this, it hits him. Bunny realizes that kindness and helping others truly are the greatest treasures in the world. And suddenly, the whole cave just floods with this bright, beautiful light. Plus, he's not alone. All the animals from the forest gather around to welcome him with just pure joy. It's this incredibly magical resolution. The real wealth he found wasn't locked in a dark box. It was the community and the goodwill he built back out there in the dense forest. Which leads us straight to the moral of the story, summing up everything perfectly. Kindness and helping others always bring rewards. Sure, sometimes it's a magic key that opens a literal lock, but usually it's the connections we make and the realization that we actually have the power to make the world a little brighter. Bunny's everyday actions were the true treasure, and they turned a curious little rabbit into a genuine hero. And that leaves us with one final thought as we wrap up today's explainer. We just spent this time following a fictional rabbit in a magical forest, but honestly, the mechanics of this story apply 100% to our real lives. True wealth really is generated by the value we bring to others. So here's my challenge to you. Whom will you help today? What kind of magic keys can you create out there just through a simple act of kindness? Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep helping, and I'll catch you in the next one.